To visualize this, there's multiple ways of looking at this, but one way is to think of those that put the labels on us, those that judge us and stereotype us, are labelers. And here we are labelers, the adults, they label rap in a certain way, but we also have labels of rap too. And this is important to remember, that everybody in some way puts labels on other people. Can anybody think of anybody that puts labels on them in their life? Somebody who tries to put you in a box and has certain expectations of how you act?
Teachers.
Teachers do? Yeah? Does anybody have any other ones? Your sister does?
Parents.
Parents?
Coaches.
Coaches? Yeah. These are all very good ideas of labelers. So we got teachers, parents, siblings, police, coaches. Does anybody have any other ones? Do your friends ever label you? Classmates? Rarely? But sometimes they do. Classmates and friends. So these are all forms of labelers. But historically, there are some systems and people in power that place labels on other people. It's something that the civil rights movement was a big part of fighting against, because labelers are often racist and oppress people. Does anybody know what oppression is?
When you,
When you do something.
yeah, you try to do something bad, like one group of people, like they're not the same as
Exactly. They're not on an equal level. That's bad. And that's often what labels do.
Or when you're doing something and you're not really you.
When you try to pretend to be somebody else, you oppress who you really are. Yeah, very good. All right, so now the next image in the middle there are labels. And labels are kind of like stereotypes. Does anybody know what stereotypes are?
Yeah.
What are they, Thomas?
It's like we're all different people and like everything in common and stuff.
Yeah, it's these big labels that we put on certain people and not give them the complex and different identities that they really have. Does anybody have any labels that like these labelers put on them in their lives? What are some things that teachers think about you? Since you threw out teachers. What are some labels that they put you on?
how they think of your grade was.
Grade-wise? So they kind of have these expectations. What about parents? What do parents label you as? Just young kids, kind of? Children? You're a child. Because technically you are kind of young people. But do they mean something more when they call you a child?
You act childish.
You act childish? So that's kind of what they're saying? That you're immature and not responsible? What are some of the labels that police, coaches, or even your classmates or friends can put on you?
Weird.
Weird? Troublemaker? Annoyed? Yeah, these are all really good labels and ideas. And a lot of them could be stereotypes. I mean, the stereotype of being a kid is that you're immature, annoying, weird. And sometimes teachers can put expectations on you and stereotype you. If you do good on an assignment one day, chances are they'll probably like stereotype you as being really smart. Yes, Anna?
Sometimes your friends will call you stupid when you say like a really good joke. Because like, oh,
So stupid could go in here too? All right. But one of the big important things I want you guys to take away from this is the content. What is really actually in the soup can? Because you guys, as poets, you get to decide what the truth really is. You get to decide how you want to overcome those labels that people put on you. So can anybody think of how they combat or fight against these things that people say? Like if your parents call you childish, how do you react to that?
Act responsible.
You act responsible? When your friends call you stupid for saying a funny joke, how do you react to that, Hannah? Tell them another funny joke? No?
Say, I know.
You know? And just kind of back away, not get in a fight about it? Does anybody else have?
Say it was too good.
Just say, okay, forget about it. Kind of like, forget you, I don't care what you say about me. All right. So this is what I feel the cool thing about being poets, as all of you are, is that you're able to choose what the truth really is. You get to express who you really want to be. You can say, you know what, teacher, you may think that I'm stupid, but really I'm smart, and I'm going to show it to you in this poem. Awesome? Why was it awesome? Sounded awesome? Because he's a very... He's a story of life, and he's a really good speaker. He's able to really give life to the words that he's saying. But yeah, so he talks about the meaning of his life, you think? Like the story of what he has to deal with?
Yeah, or story where...
Yeah, he's kind of talking about these systems in play too. The labelers, the labels, and what he really wants to be. Does anybody have any examples of some of the labelers that he talks about in the poem? Anybody who's trying to kind of like put a box, somebody that he's speaking out against? The government? Is that what you said, Idris? Yeah? The government's one. What is kind of one of the labels that the government is putting on him? No justice? Is there any part where he kind of like rises above that idea that's in the poem? Or can you think it? You don't think so? Or, oh, you do? Do you have a line that you think kind of says? If you can't think of a line, what do you feel he's saying that he rises above it with? He wants freedom? Were there any other labelers that anybody could think of in the poem? That stuck out to him? Is that a labeler, do you think? Or just an example that he uses? What about when he says, tell the law? So he's kind of speaking out against who, do you think? Who's the law? You think the president? The government? Or maybe even the cops, the police? What are some of the labels that the law or the police put on him in the poem? Kind of the same thing as the government, kind of no justice, no freedom. Does anybody have any lines in the poem that really stuck out for him about how he rises and overcomes these labels that people put him in? Or how he as an artist is trying to express himself to overcome these obstacles in his way? Because there's one line that really sticks out for me. And if nobody has an example. Fighting back and physically attacking? Yeah. What line, JJ, are you looking at that made you think that? Exactly. Are there any other ones that stood out for anybody? For me, in the bottom half, there's the line, stay true to what I do so the youth dream come. And to me, that was a really powerful line in which that he is saying, you know what, I'm going to forget about these labelers and these systems that are oppressing me. I'm going to do what I want to do so that future generations are able to accomplish and carry on the dream that I want to do. So I want you guys to think about this when we write our poems today. Think about how you're going to overcome the labelers and labels that people put on you in your life.